Back to Gonzaga. Gio, we've seen them play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big time games already this season, right? We probably know what they are more than just about any other team in college basketball at this point. So what is Gonzaga? You mentioned they're still a really, really good team. Maybe they're not quite as elite as they've been in the last 2 or 3 seasons. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, so that's basically my assessment right now. I think, it really just depends on the consistency of the guards, right? You know who Timmy is, right? And he has that reputation and as a winner, right? And these guys need to step up and be the consistent playmakers that, I think that they can be. I think that Bolton is a very good player. Hickman is a very good player. Strother showed today what he can do in crunch time. So it's just a matter of fact that they can, continue that consistently.
Has anything changed your opinion on them, Tio?
No, in that they have a dominant 4-5 and Timmy, and the better the guards are, the better they're going to be. They have to supply something from the guard spots. And today they did. Is that going to be a consistent theme? I think that's the biggest issue, like Gio said.
Mm-hmm. All right, I do want to talk about Xavier really quick here because they are a tough team for me to peg at this point, right? I watch them, I look at them, and when they play, they look like a good basketball team, right? I think that when you watch them play, they have guards that can make some shots. They have two big guys that work well together. Jack Nungy, when he's going right, is really, really good. I trust in the coach they have running things there. It looks like they're running a little bit more of a modern offense. But if you look at the results that they put up, right? Lost by 2 to Indiana at home, lost by 7 to Duke on a neutral, lost by 4 to Gonzaga on a neutral. They're not winning games yet, but they're competitive single-digit games with teams that are all currently ranked in the top 25 on KenPom and in the top 12 of the AP poll. So, Gio, what's your take on the Xavier team? Right, I'm in the weeds in the Big East, so I watch them a lot. I watch them when they play shitty teams. What's your take on Xavier and just how good they can be?
I mean, they definitely passed the eye test. I think you just said it best. I think that they have potential to be in that top three, top four of the Big East. They're right there for sure. But in terms of results, right? Like it comes down to the little things. Like I think they need to, have a deep film session, right? Go over the little things. Like every possession matters. And it comes down to, are you taking care of the ball? Is there a free throw line box out, right? 50-50 balls. And, those are the things that are going to lead to the W's. But in terms of the eye test, right, they definitely pass with flying colors.
Mm-hmm. T.O.?
I don't see why they're not a top 4 team in the Big East, especially the way Villanova's playing. And I don't see Villanova's problems getting any better anytime soon. Here's my thing. They've always had talent. It's almost the reverse of what's happened the past few seasons. The past few seasons, they've been great in the non-con in the first 4 games of the Big East, and then they just kind of falls off a cliff. This year, they're figuring their problems out now because they're playing a high level of competition. I think that's a good thing for Sean Miller. That being said, I read a few tweets from Xavier people or those who love Xavier, and everybody's saying they're definitely a tournament team. Yeah, maybe. I'm not willing to say they're definitely a tournament team. My bounce back to that, or my rebuttal to that, is you have to win some of these games. Like eventually, the people making the selections on Selection Sunday, they're looking at metrics. They're looking at wins, losses. It is very cut and dry what they're looking at for the most part. It is not an eye test situation. You have to win some of these bigger games.
Yeah, I think that's going to come. Right.
I do too. But to say
like,
they're a tournament team right now would not be accurate. Like you have to win some of these big games.
Yeah, I agree with you. Right now, if you do a field, like they don't have the resume or whatever it would take. But
right.
I think that they're going to get there. I think the bigger question to have now, or the bigger conversation to have now, is like they have to be top 3 in the Big East, because I don't think that there's really all that much outside of the top 3 in the Big East. Watching just simply eye test stuff, I think it's very clear. UConn and Creighton, whoever you want to set them apart, I think that they're probably the 2 best teams in the conference, right? Then Xavier to me is the next in that next tier, and then I don't even know where you go from there.
I think you go Providence and St. John's after that, and then you're flirting with Marquette in that second tier.
And I don't think Marquette's a tournament team, at least not yet. They stay within 5 of Purdue, which that might make them be a top 25 team in college basketball this year. But it just, once you get past that top 3, it's kind of it's slim pickings for the Big East this season.
Big East was good last year. There's a lot of change in the Big East this year, and you saw a lot of change in some other leagues last season as well. And you're seeing kind of the repercussions of roster turnover and the repercussions. Like Providence, for example, last season, they brought back a bunch of guys from the year prior. So it was like their second year altogether. This season, completely new guys. St. John's are add Curbelo to the mix, completely different situation. Marquette, you're looking at different guys coming in. The roster consistency for those top three teams, they're all in their second year together, right? Or the majority or the vast majority of their roster is. So I think that's a big part of it. Especially looking now that we're in the non-con and the success of those top three teams.